Coming up on Mountain News, an overnight tornado tore through parts of Nashville. We take a look at the damage it's left behind.
And back here in the Commonwealth, we take a look back to just more than 8 years ago when Kentucky was hit by the worst tornado outbreak in state history.
And as fears spread about the coronavirus, we talked with local school officials to see how they are preparing for a potential outbreak.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 4:59. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Lacey Roberts.
Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning on Tuesday, March the 3rd. And Lacey, the rain is coming down here in Hazard.
Yes, and it was lightning. It was really bright on my way to work. It was almost blinding. So you can tell that it's really just going to get worse.
Yeah, storms for sure. Let's bring Brandon in this morning. And Brandon, our storms are nothing compared to what we've seen out west and especially in the Nashville area late last night and into this morning.
That's right. Let's take a look at the last few hours on the satellite and radar, taking a look at those storms, and you'll see that we basically have seen those storms roll through Nashville out toward Cookeville, and this same system dropped one, potentially more tornadoes there, and we know that it's a tornado because it's been caught on camera, been shared on social media overnight, and it was massive. And the Nashville area heavily damaged. We'll talk more about that here in a second and show you some video. But take a look at this system here down in Knoxville area. There was a tornado warning that apparently just expired, but this is just south of our Tennessee counties, Claiborne and Campbell there, so back toward Morristown there, and then you see that line of massive storms that will continue to plague the area. Up here in our area, all of the heaviest, most severe weather is south. We are still seeing storms. We had a thunder clap earlier that rocked the entire building here at the station and actually kind of startled me a little bit. But the heaviest rain starting to move east and out this morning, and we're going to continue to see some showers and storms plague us. Visibility is rough this morning. We're looking at the low visibility across most of the area. Be careful this morning. Ponding water could be a real issue on those roads as you hit the road this morning. So just take it easy out there. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. They're actually going up a little bit. So I think we're going to stabilize right around 53 as we head out the door. Rain gear will be needed early, but I think as we get deeper into the day, we'll start to see this rain become more scattered before getting out of here later this evening. We'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
We start off this morning with breaking news out of Nashville, Tennessee. That is where a large and dangerous tornado ripped through parts of the Music City overnight. Police have confirmed in the last 30 minutes there are at least 2 deaths resulting from the tornado. The storms tracked through Middle Tennessee, leaving a trail of damage and destruction from the downtown area across several counties before finally ending near Cookeville. Several homes were damaged and numerous injuries were reported in Mount Juliet. Thousands are without power this morning and shelters are open across the area for those who are left homeless. Officials will survey the damage and confirm the intensity of the tornadoes later on today.
And here in Kentucky, yesterday was the 8th anniversary of the worst tornado outbreak in eastern Kentucky's history. Research done by the National Weather Service show 4 separate tornadoes affecting 9 different counties. Most of the widespread destruction was in West Liberty and Salyersville. 26 people lost their lives in Kentucky and more than 200 people were injured after 18 tornadoes statewide. The outbreak proved that strong tornadoes can happen in the mountains.
Certainly they can happen across mountains and continue, such as happened on March 2nd when they're as strong as they were that day.
And while strength plays a factor in these types of storms, the correct weather conditions must also line up.
26 people died, hundreds were injured, and scores of homes and businesses were destroyed when those tornadoes tore through parts of eastern Kentucky. Downtown West Liberty was nearly leveled. We talked with the pastor at West Liberty United Methodist Church, who became the pastor a few months after the storms passed.
I came here because of the fact that the church had been destroyed and the parsonage was unusable, and we had the opportunity to kind of start from scratch.
Pastor Jamie Brunk told us as he helped his grieving congregation by simply listening and wanting to hear their stories of where they were and what happened.
And the deadly tornado outbreak was one of the worst natural disasters in Kentucky's history. But in Magoffin County, where a tornado damaged or destroyed schools, homes, and businesses, no one died. Some call it a miracle. One woman who lived through it was trapped outside in her car and remembers it vividly.
I was worried about my family and my children, because I couldn't get a hold of my daughter at the time. She was on the other end of town, and just making sure everybody was okay.
Restaurant Row, an area nearly leveled in Magoffin County, is now rebuilt and thriving.
A warning for truckers driving through Middlesboro this morning. Transportation officials urge you not to access downtown US 25 East via Kentucky 74. It is because of scenes like this one last month, where a truck could not clear the CSX bridge. Officials tell us it happens at least a few times a year. The clearance there is 13 feet.
And as fears about the coronavirus spread, many are wondering what the response will be. While Kentucky has yet to have its first reported case, school districts in eastern Kentucky are preparing. While some have canceled classes this year due to the flu, they are taking the direction from the state. And while they don't know how much about the virus yet, they know schools can cause illnesses to spread quickly.
It's like it's traveled throughout schools, throughout the whole district instead of all at once. I don't know if it's just how the virus, how the flu virus does or what, but, kids are just in contact with each other so often in close quarters. I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Leslie County school leaders say they have all the proper cleaning supplies, and they are having their custodians focus on cleaning all the surfaces they can.
As the coronavirus continues to spread, the main concern here in Kentucky is still the flu. The latest numbers show nearly 2,000 new cases in the third week of February. 14 people died that week alone, bringing the total number of dead to 80. Several eastern Kentucky counties are still being hit hard, including Pike and Perry.
So we put our trust in doctors and pharmacists, but sometimes mistakes can still happen. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy pulled pharmacy complaints made statewide in the last 2 years, and some of those complaints are chilling. In one case, a mother ended up giving her toddler a double dose of antibiotics. She says the pharmacist accidentally doubled the prescription. In another case, a man ended up taking the wrong medication, a sedative. He rode his motorcycle and crashed. Pharmacists say they are expected to do more than ever before, and mistakes, unfortunately, do happen.
10 years ago, you fill prescriptions, you counsel patients, you help them with over-the-counter stuff. That's what we did. Now we do all that, plus we do flu immunizations. We do hepatitis A immunizations. We have to do, a lot of pharmacies do monthly psychiatric injections for patients. On top of that, the insurance world is getting more and more complicated, so our staff is spending more and more time dealing with insurance problems.
The chairman of the Kentucky Pharmacists Association says pharmacy benefit managers are making it hard for pharmacies to have enough staff. Hear what his association wants to see across the industry in our 6 o'clock hour right here on Mountain News This Morning. And thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News This Morning.
Coming up, we'll tell you how scientists are saying half of the world's beaches could disappear by the end of the century.
We continue to track storms across the mountains early this morning, but those should be a thing of the past later today. I'll have the latest forecast in 3 minutes.